Okay folks, welcome. This is the first video. Overview of the Australian political system. Today I want to give you a brief overview. The focus today is to take a helicopter view to identify the key elements of the system and how they fit together. I'll describe the role of each part of the system in its simplest terms. Later in the course we'll look at each piece of the system in much more detail. But today the purpose is to get the basic roadmap. Australia is a constitutional democracy. A constitution is a set of laws that sets out how the political system works. Everyone in the political system has to operate within the constraints of the constitution. No one is above this all-important law. The constitution can only be changed by a national referendum. The High Court. The High Court is the highest court in the land. Its most important role is to ensure that everyone abides by the Constitution. It has the power to assess whether the actions of the government abide by the Constitution or are in conflict with the Constitution. The Parliament is the highly visible centre of our political system. It serves two very important political functions. First, it's the legislature, which means it makes the laws. If a proposed law passes both houses of Parliament, it becomes Australian law. It has to pass the lower house, or the House of Representatives, and the upper house, or the Senate. The second important role of the Parliament is that it's how we form the executive. The party that's able to win the majority of seats in the lower house is allowed to form government. The leader of that party becomes the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister then selects a group of cabinet ministers from amongst his or her colleagues. The cabinet forms the so-called executive. That is, it's the group of people who actually manage the day-to-day running of government, taking charge of running defence, hospitals, schools, the tax system, etc. The Parliament is elected by the electorate, or by the Australian people. The electorate refers to all Australian citizens who are over 18 years old. Every 3 years they participate in national elections to vote in the members of Parliament. The bureaucracy has the job of implementing the executive's decisions. Its job is to do what the executive decides and to do it how the executive decides it should be done. The bureaucracy also performs a very important role in providing policy advice to government, where they identify what problems need to be solved and make proposals about what government should do. In the midst of all of this is the media. It's the role of the media to keep the public informed about what government is doing. It publicises the actions of the government, and it also provides feedback to the government about what people in the community think about their actions. There are also other players in this system whose role is often less open to public view. Stakeholders are people who are directly affected by government decisions. They often seek to have input into government decision making, and they might do that through the media, they might do it through consultation processes, or they might do it privately with politicians. Finally, lobbyists are a subgroup of stakeholders. Lobbyists are usually businesses that have profits at stake in government decisions. These businesses are prepared to spend a lot of money to get politicians to make decisions in their interests, and they usually operate behind the scenes. In the coming weeks, we're going to look at each of these elements in the decision-making system in much more detail.